Hola, people. Hello and welcome. How's it going? Let me know. Let me know what y'all are up to, how it's going, all the good stuff. We're going to have of course, someone. All right, cool. Um, we're going to have a really great conversation today, and we're just gonna have fun. This is going to be a conversation focused around. I can't speak around tarot for kids, tarot for children. If you were a person who started young reading tarot. Share your thoughts. If you weren't, share your thoughts. If you are a parent, share your thoughts, your challenges, your concerns. It's just here for us to be able to have a conversation. There's no judgment really here. I will say, so I purchased this deck, Tarot for Kids, for just to kind of think about working it with my nieces, right? So I have them for the summer, and check that out maybe. But with that being said, I posted. I'm gonna read this to you because this is kind of like I liked the response. And again, this is not targeting anyone. And I have to say, I don't have kids. I'm not a parent, so I don't have that experience. I am someone who is around, people who have kids a lot. I am someone who grew up, I started reading the tarot at the age of 10. So I have that experience. I don't have the experience of a parent, so I can't comment on that, but I can share my thoughts, just like I encourage everyone to share our thoughts. Okay. But there was a response on my post, and I really appreciated it because it expresses a lot, and it's a great place to start conversation. And so let me read that to you, and let's talk about it. Let's talk about our thoughts around tarot and kids, any hangups you might have, all of that. Okay. And so this says, myself, I feel kids should not read tarot. For one thing, reading tarot, one needs to hone in on their energy and the energy of others. And with kids, they have scattered energy at best. Cards are also left up to interpretation as well as knowing the meanings of each card. A reader will use their own wisdom and maturity of life to aid them with the cards, and with children, well, they just don't have that maturity behind them. Let me ask you something. Would you read a 12-year-old's cards? Because I won't. Their energy is constantly changing as they grow. So their readings are not accurate, just my thoughts on it. And so I really appreciate those thoughts. What do you think? How does that make you feel? Like what pops up for you? What would your response be? Do you share similar concerns? Let's talk about it. Okay. So, uh, yeah. Well, hello, Dana. Good to see you. Uh, well, thank you, Jess. I started at 16. I'm a mom now. Oh, congratulations. And I'd love to get this for my 9-year-old. Yeah, yeah. So, okay. So I read that. And I just is just blah, blah, blah. This is just going to be a conversation, so it's not like all scripted. I never do scripted. It's so hard for me to do that. But I will. Hello, Dragon Dancer. Welcome. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't. Sorry, I love your picture. So cute. Um, and I think that the person. I really appreciate the response. I think the person's is valid in their concerns. I do find though, speaking from someone who started reading the cards at 10, it honestly saved my life. And I'm not even, this is not to boast, but it has also saved the lives of others around me when working with it, because things came up, but and situations handled. So I will say, from someone who started at 10, it really did save my life, and it really helped me. It helped me navigate some really, really rough times. Obviously, a 10-year-old mentality and a life experience is going to vary, just like an adult. There are adults who are not mature. There are adults who haven't had certain life experiences. We all have to start somewhere, right? we all have to start somewhere, and we start with the language, the vocabulary, the life experience that we have. And so we work with that and we grow. And I think teaching a child, at a young age to talk, to have conversations about what we're going through, about archetypal energies, and we use the language that they can utilize. We don't start talking about like concepts that they're not ready. Again, every parent has to discern and properly, because some children can comprehend certain things more than others, and so that's where discernment comes in. But we meet them where they're at, just like we meet the tarot where we're at any given moment. So before I ramble, let's see. Kids intuition. I love that. So kitty, so pretty. Kids intuition is strongest when they are indeed kids, before adults and culture tell them to ignore it or be afraid of it. Tarot doesn't need to be used only exactly. That's okay. Tarot doesn't need to be used only to read for others, and adults should instruct that they themselves will change. Exactly what the card symbolizes will change as they grow up, like anything they are exposed to in life. Exactly. And so it's not like if we teach our children to read tarot, it's not like, oh, we're setting them up to read for others. No, when I started, I didn't read for others. I read for myself. I learned to process the information from my life, how it applied here. And so it gives you the energy to understand like what I'm feeling, understand what I'm going through, or help us unpack like real intense situations. And I think that one of the most powerful things can be with a parent and child, if they together let's learn tarot. um we can have conversations. It opens a pathway for actual like deep rooted conversation to happen, and not from a judgmental place. Does that make sense? So I like that. And when we're talking about, oh, this card, oh, what's going on in your life, like sometimes kids don't feel like they can have conversations with their parents, but if we bring tarot in, this might be a really good way to be able to express ourselves, communicate, and unpack situations from a sort of like non-personal way. Does that make sense? And I think that I don't know. I think that there's a lot to say about being able to incorporate this. It's not saying that kids have to read for others. It's saying that let's work this in where they can read for themselves, and they can actually work on their own life stuff. It's like getting kids into therapy, which I think is important if it's available to you. um why not? Why not give our children the best shot possible? Let's see. My children are always asking about my cards. I've never thought about getting them their own yet. I guess I thought it was too advanced, but after thinking about it, my children navigate all the rest of the world's chaos, and I think introducing them to reading cards could help them focus their energy. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, another thing, another thing. Let me show you some cards. So this is the deck again that I. Let me take this off. Sorry. Uh, this is what I just got. The backing is super cute, very simple. I like it, but they've changed certain things. Uh, I don't know about this one. So the devil is now the bully. I understand this, and from a kid's perspective, okay, but I don't know. I think they could have done better with the bully, but that's just my opinion, and I'm not the one who created this, right? So mind my business. But there's the bully instead of the devil. I like this one. So instead of the Hierophant, we have the rules. And I think rules, as we discuss rules with children, it's like, okay, I understand rules, frustrating. I don't want to abide by them. But why don't I want to abide by them? Like, what? I'm trying to find my own footing, right? So I think that's cool. The lovers is now like the best friends. Okay. Temperance is now balance, right? Is that temperance? Yeah. Uh, Death is now change, and the Hanged Man is now patience. So for the most part, I like the changes. because like I said, it's meeting our children, it's meeting younger, energies where they're at. And so, yeah, the only thing I'm the only thing that I wish maybe would shift would be the bully, because I think there's so much more that can be expressed instead of that. But whatever, whatever. I can still appreciate it. But yeah, it's utilizing language, right? It's utilizing language that meets them where they're at, where there's concepts that they are able to work through. So yes, we know what patience is. We can talk about patience. Yes, we know what the bully can mean, and we can talk about that. Change, instead of talking about death, which I think death is important to have a conversation about, but depending on age, let's talk about change first. And so I can see how that would be really great. Rules instead of the Hierophant. First of all, I don't know. I think I'd like the rules instead of the Hierophant as well, because the Hierophant energy, I don't know, the name, I don't know. I just have something with it, but I do like the rules. Like, ooh, okay, we can talk about that. Does that make sense? And so I think that having kids a part of this, and utilizing language that might be more appropriate for them, it helps with growth. And I think that that is something that anyone who has a child wants the best for their children, wants them to grow, wants them to have the best shot possible. I think no matter the parent, like, I would hope that's what you want. Ooh, tarot has helped my kiddo work on her concentration span. I like that. I love it. Teach them young so they have exactly. Teach them young. Sorry. Teach them young so they have confidence in themselves and their tools. Cards can be a good friend, a creative inspiration, etc. Adults need to stop foisting. I like that word, foisting. Let's all say it, foisting their preconceived ideas and fears. Now I just think frosting. Oh my gosh, fears on kids that tarot is to read for others, and or has a static meaning or should be feared. Yeah, exactly. It's like there's so much that we can do with tarot, and tarot is an exploration of the self. We can utilize it to have conversations for sure. We can utilize it to read for others, but that's not really where most people begin. We use it to we use it to understand ourselves. We use it to figure out a solution for what we're currently going through. And I think that if we bring tarot at an early age, it helps, even if you navigate, like I navigated a lot, like, bullies and just being awkward. And yeah, I didn't have confidence, but tarot helped me. I wouldn't say, I mean, it can, especially if I had like a parent or I had someone to instruct me and help me process all of this. I didn't. So if I did, it'd probably be, even better, but I did this alone. And so it helped me find meaning in what I was going through. It also helped me escape a little from the hurt of my circumstances. And I was able to kind of process things, and it builds like inner confidence until I was able to express that outwardly. Yeah. Yeah. So, and again, I think the misunderstanding as well with people is like, oh, tarot as an adult tool versus tarot as a child's tool. Like, they don't have to. We don't. As an adult, obviously, we're going to. Well, hopefully, we handle life in different different ways. But as a child, there's still growth. There's always growth. Like, and that's another thing that I will address is like energy. Um, Even as an adult, there's intense energy. Even as an adult, there's crazy energy. There's like, uh, scattered energy. I don't feel that as an adult you're set in stone, and I don't feel as a child you're set in stone. So I think that there's constantly shifting and changing in our lives. That's just life. That's energy. That's flow. And so I think that it might be more appropriate to express like, I don't read for kids because I don't want to. I don't believe that you can. I don't believe that it can be accurate, blah blah blah. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I don't want to read for kids, right? If you don't want to, don't do it. Would I read for someone who is 12 years old? Absolutely I would. Why not? Because I remember myself at the age of 12. If someone could communicate with me on those terms and help me through things and help me understand things, oh, that would have changed so much. That would have changed so much. And to be able to have those tools would have meant everything. So, but I will say it would be, if I'm reading for a minor, consent, parental consent, and the parent, or parents have to be present. I am not going to have a conversation with a child without their guardians, their parents present. So we make it more of a conversation, a discussion, and we share on that sort of language level, like what we're going through. Okay, so yeah, and I do think it's accurate, just like everything else. I believe in myself, I believe in my ability, and I believe in my ability to have conversations with people. So a 12-year-old is no different than a 21-year-old in that sense. Like, I treat the reading the same. I may alter my the language that I utilize, and how I address things. Yeah. um so this, my daughter has been involved in ritual practice since she was like 4. Many people question it, but she uh a ritual better than a lot of, yeah, yeah. And I think that people are just like, oh, I can't do this, can't do that. And it's like, well, no, maybe you don't want to, maybe you can't, and that's fine. Respect your boundaries, respect what you do. um I think they do have to have some level of maturity in order to become adept, but it can't hurt to allow them to become familiar with the images. Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like, well, when we talk tarot, we don't have to talk like being super adept in something, being super like well read. Like, that builds, that takes time, and so, like, if again I started at 10, and so I'm I didn't start where I currently am, right? I had to learn, I had to grow, I had to figure things out. And the more, and this is the thing that I also will say, the more we add, like, okay, at 10, those life experiences, those situations, those intense emotions, the all of it, I was able to see and navigate with tarot. As I get older, thank you. As I get older, different life experiences, and now I have that well of knowledge and experience with tarot to pull from. So I remember when I was 10, and what these cards might have meant to me at that time, and I remember when I was 20, 29, blah blah blah. I have that experience, and it's all interconnected with tarot, and the archetypal energies and influences, and I'm able to use that to my advantage, and I use it to the advantage of my clients. So I think we start somewhere. Everyone who starts tarot, no matter the age, starts somewhere, starts at the beginning of it, right? That's initiation. And so we just build and we grow. And to know, again, as adults, to know what the tarot has or may have done for us, what it has done for us, what we've been able to handle, what we do with it, what a blessing it is that it can be for our kids, to help them when they're, to help them become better at life at that age, like to set them up for success. Why wouldn't we? You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't we want that for them? If Wouldn't we want that for ourselves, to have better tools, to be able to communicate about our emotions, to be able to have conversations, and build our skills up as time goes by? I think so. Um, So I think tarot would help a child come into his or her own. It can help them grow and allow them to embrace the changes. Yeah, and there's so many ways. Like, if you have a child who's an artist, like, oh, maybe they need motivation or inspiration. They want to pull a card and they want to think about it. Maybe they want to use it for art, right? Or maybe they want to use it as a writing prompt. It can help. Or, like, if you have a child and the child is like, okay, we have a test coming up. Like, how do I best? Like, we can ask questions. How do I best study for this test, or how do I best prepare for this test, or what subject matter should I really focus on? Things like that. Let's pull a card. Let's find out what's going on here. how do I make the most of this year? Like, let's say I'm in seventh grade. How do I get the most out of seventh grade? You know, what can I prepare for? What can I be aware of? Things like that. I'm having an issue with someone at school and they're being really, really mean. How do I handle this? Obviously, we handle it with the mundane stuff as well, but how do I understand this? You know, from a tarot perspective, let's pull some cards. Let's talk about it. Oh, wow, this is what's going on. This is a situation. This is the exploration of the situation. And now I have better understanding of what's going on. So maybe I don't think it's all about me. You know, when someone's targeting me, it's more about them than what they're going through, right? Uh, like that deck for kids, many of the original cards. I know people are so scared of like the devil, and it's like because it's. I feel because in death, that people are just. I feel like it's a Christian influence. Like, oh, we're taught that the devil is evil. Not the case. Maybe the Christian devil, but the devil is so much more. It goes beyond Christianity, and death is just a part of life. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. We all we all have to get there. But yeah, and it's not just the original cards, like the expression of them. These are energies, archetypal energies. This is a language that children can learn, can adjust to, and so in their lives, in their experience, we talk about patience instead of the hanged man. We talk about the bully instead of the devil. So it meets them where they're at right now, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Totally. So let's see. Let's see. Sorry. Like so many things to say. Let's see. These are amazing commercial stars. They said you have a link for cars. I just got it on Amazon. I can share a link later. Uh, but I've seen it at Barnes and Noble, wherever you get your books. I've you taught all your kids about tarot cards. I mean, yeah, I think it's a uh, great conversation starter. I think I'd honestly prefer a kid's deck without the changes. It's cute though. I just personally prefer to not sugarcoat stuff. I don't want Lube to punch them in the face like it did. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Life. Did you mean life instead of lube, or did you mean lube? Pretty sure. You type. Oh my god, the typos are killing me. I'm like, sorry, sorry. Yeah, yeah, it is. I know. I'm kind of like meh, but I also understand where some of it can be a little intense, some of it can be a little much. Especially if kids can pick up on fears of parents and people around. So when we're talking about like the devil as a concept from Christianity can be super scary, right? For people, it can be super scary no matter what. So I get it. I'm kind of in between both. So yeah. Well, hey, James, Mark James. So yeah, hello. If an adult wants to learn tarot, what cards would you suggest for us? See, this is where okay. If an adult wants to learn tarot, I always go back. I have like several, but I always go back. I know some people don't like it, but I suggest classic Rider Waite Smith deck. People are like, oh, work with a deck that you're called to working with that you love the imagery about. Yeah, you can do that, but sometimes the deck that we're called to work with, it's just pretty imagery, and it doesn't teach us to work with symbolism. It doesn't teach us to work with like the basics, the foundation, and so that's why I always just suggest start with Rider Waite Smith, and go from there. I can get you some book resources if you're interested. I think a book that I really enjoy. I'm trying to think. It's like the easiest way to learn tarot ever. I think it's by Dusty White. It's a white book, and it just has a lot of fun exercises. helps. And I think those exercises can be applied, like you can utilize it if you're talking with your kids as well. So you can just adapt it to your situation. So this has just opened my mind up to so many things as a homeschool mom. Kudos to you. I've been trying more unschooling, and tarot could be the breakthrough I needed. I never thought about combining them. This is why. Oh, thank you, thank you. I just like to have. Sorry, I'm laughing at this. Okay, so yeah, life. You meant life. That's hilarious. Um, so yeah, I just like having conversations, and I like being able to share, like, okay, what's going on, what do we talk about? Tarot for kids. Should kids read tarot? Absolutely, why not? It will help. It will absolutely help. We just need to have conversations with them where they're at. um I'm trying to think of anything else I wanted to say. But yeah, you can use it like even in like homeschooling situation, or even like a parent or whatever child situation. Let's wake up, let's have a morning ritual, wake up, get ready, have our water, whatever we're doing. And let's, as a family, get together and let's have your kid pull a card, and then boom, let's talk about the card. Like, what do you, and again, you can read the meaning from the book if you'd like to them. But before even doing that, hey, children, what do you see? What is this person in this card doing? What do you think it feels like to be in this card? What are your thoughts? Like, what are your first thoughts when this card pops up? You can even make a journal for them. Like, if they can't write themselves or it takes too long, you can write it down. Like, oh, let's talk about this card. We got, let's say, we got, where is it? We got the rules card, we got the rules. Sorry. And so, hey child, hey kid. You probably shouldn't say hey little bastard, because that's probably not a good thing. No, I'm just kidding. No, just say hey, whoever you're addressing. What do you think of rules? What are your thoughts on rules? What does it mean to you? How do they feel? And then like from a parent perspective, like, oh, they're like, oh, I don't like rules, blah blah. Why don't you like these rules? Let's talk about it. And then you can interject your little gems of wisdom and say, you know what? Rules are in place at times to help us with this. Like, the rules aren't always bad, but they help guide us to getting things done in a certain way that will help everyone involved, and be safe and protective, and yada yada yada. We can use that as a conversation piece. Understand, like, oh, why don't you like rules? What are your thoughts on rules? How does it make you feel? And then we can have that conversation little by little at their level, whatever language, whatever their communication style is. We can explain why some rule, like why there are rules, and the beauty and necessity of them at times, right? Does that make sense? So you could do that like on a daily or every other day. And we don't need to force it on our children, but just have conversation. Like, oh, let's take a look. Or again, how was your day? It was really bad. It was really intense. Like, there was just, it was too much for me. I don't know. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. It was a day. And do you want to get the tarot out? Do you want to get the tarot out, and do you want to explore when you're ready? Do you want to explore this energy that you're going through right now? These experiences. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's figure it out. Let's talk about it. Let's find the tarot, and let's see what they have to say, and let's see if we can come up with what's going on. You know, right? Does that make sense? And stuff like that. No, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to address the tarot. Okay, that's fine too. Do you want to work with the cards yourself? Do you want to see what they have to say by yourself? Like, do you want that alone time? Yeah, okay. Well, you know where the tarot is. Go get it. I can be there for you and help you, and we can have a conversation about it. Or if you want to kind of explore it by yourself right now, that's absolutely fine too. Does that make sense? And I think that's important to always be there and show support, but also give that alone time. Like if they need to process it themselves, allow them to explore that too, and don't take offense to it. And also say, you know what? If after you want to talk about it, I'm here. I'm here for you. I'm here to talk about it, and let's do it. But if you don't want to, that's okay too. When and if you're ready, I will be there. I love that wording we use at mental health field all the time. Meet them. Yeah, I think that's important because everyone is doing their own thing in their own life, and just because kids are, let's say, just because they're kids doesn't mean they don't have the ability to process what they're going through. It doesn't mean they don't have what it takes to have a conversation. They're still people, and we just have to recognize that we can't have conversation. We don't necessarily need to be having the conversation as an adult with another adult. We are talking to children, and so we need to make sure that we meet them, like, it's expressed, where they are, and know how to alter our communication style to fit with what they may need to receive to work through whatever they're working through, right? And I think that's a huge one too. It's like, and not everyone's meant for that. Not everyone can handle that, and that's okay. You don't have to if you don't want to. But I think that's something that needs to be addressed as well. It's like, okay, just because I don't want to work with kids and I don't like kids, or just because I don't want that time or that responsibility, doesn't mean it's not possible. Any thoughts? Any questions? I've been rambling and rambling. Oh, that's good. That's nice. I like that. Uh, but yeah, I've been rambling forever. And this, again, it's not a review on the deck yet. Maybe I'll do that later. It's just, this is the deck that inspired the conversation. Tarot for kids. And should kids read the cards? Should kids work with the tarot? And I absolutely believe that yes, if that's something you want to bring to your children, that would help so much because again, the cards, they're just cards. It's just a card with imagery, and it's archetypal energy. And that's another thing that might, people think about. It's like, oh well, you have to read psychically or intuitively, and what child is ready for that? Every child is ready for that. Why? Because every child shoots out that, or they claw out, they get you know cut out. Um, every child comes out and is highly psychic, intuitive. They're different, but still, it is up to us to be there for them and give them the tools they need to live in this world and not to dull their light. And so every child is psychic, right? It picks up on the energy, and so they learn, as was expressed, I believe, by Nadia earlier. We tuned them out of that. We tuned them out of that, and so why not tune them in and give them the best shot? And so, oh my god, why do I keep repeating myself? Shit. Uh, I don't know. I think that it is. I think that it's important because again, we have really good conversations. The cards can bring up different like imagery from for different kids, and it can help them to have a conversation because sometimes children don't want to talk to our parents. Sometimes we don't know how to talk to our parents. And so when we have like a buffer, when we have a card that pops up, they can tell a story with that card. They can express what they see and what they're feeling, and it can help you understand your child even more. And like I said earlier, it can help build communication with you and your children, and it can help create a tighter bond. So I don't know. I personally believe that it is important. Like if that's something you want to do it and do it well. Enjoy the process. Don't like make it a chore, but bring it into your daily lives. pull a daily card. Or before we go to bed, we read books, right, or something. So let's pull a card. Let's see. And it can be as fun as this, like, oh, let's have some good dreams. And so before we go to bed, let's pull a card and see what kind of dreams we want to have. And so we'll pull a card. Ooh, we have I don't know, the queen of wands. And then you can talk, like, make up a little story, something fun. Ooh, the queen of wands goes out and it builds this and blah blah blah. I don't know, I can't do that right now, but you know what I'm saying. It's like, okay, create a story with your children. Let's go on a little adventure with the queen of wands. It's what would she do, where would she go, and set the tone for good dreams, right? Set the tone for good dreams. There's so much you can do with the tarot and tarot for kids. I feel like a lot of people think kids are dumb, or I do feel that, or they're not equipped to handle life. Well, they're living life. They're here. You're exposing them to your life. And so you're programming your thoughts about your children, your thoughts about other people's children, your thoughts about your situation. All of that energy is unsaid, maybe, or said, and they pick up on it, but your child still picks up on that. The younger generation still picks up on that. And so maybe if we had better thoughts about our kids, if we had better, and supportive thoughts of what they can do and what they're capable of, and not like, and I don't mean like, oh, my child is the best, oh, they're wonderful, oh, they're the next god, because that's a problem too. It's such a problem, talking children up so much, where I don't know, I don't like that. That does a disservice too. And I feel like that is more of the problematic energy around the parent than it is the kid. Um, that's a whole different conversation. But tarot can help. Yeah. So any thoughts, any questions before we end this? You have any last minute thoughts or questions? I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. I thought it was a good place to start and a good conversation to begin. Let me think if there's anything. Oh yeah. So my friend Jade expressed earlier, we were having a conversation, that I don't understand how it's okay for, like, Christian kids to, like, read Bible verses and memorize the Bible, but yet tarot is a bad thing. And she's like, learning emotional intelligence is bad. So I think that too. It's like, okay, we have a lot of people who are ready to, like, make children memorize, like, Bible verses and things that they're really, and even not even at the language they can comprehend at, right? It's like, no, this is the Bible, read this verse. And that's not even taught, like, oh, it means this, and it's not even in a language that they can really, handle. And so sometimes that screws you up even more. But yet the tarot is a bad thing. No. So if we do that, there's room for exploring the tarot um, with children. So yeah, I'm trying to think. Yep, I think that's it. Let's see. Uh, I know. If I remember being taught that if I was a bad sinner, I would. I remember being taught that if I was a bad sinner, I would spend eternity burning in hell. I know. As a child. As a child. Um, and so these are things that stand out. And I think that we just need to be more open as to what the tarot actually means, what it is, what it offers, and understand that what it can do for our children. It just, I feel like if we utilize it correctly, like in the way, like, oh, we teach them at their level, we share thoughts and stories, and we build it to their everyday, it can help them so much. It can help them grow, it can help them tackle life's challenges, and it also teaches, like, critical thinking, also teaches problem solving. It also teaches, like, okay, well, if I'm going through something challenging, it is valid for me to go through. I am valid for feeling this way, but let me get a little more understanding as to what it is. It teaches them, oh, I have a tool always in my toolkit that I can use to help me problem solve. And so it helps them to recognize, like, there is always a way. And yeah, it requires work. It requires exploration. It requires communication. But there is a way. Let me do my best to find that. Let me do my best to figure that out. Right? So I think that is beyond beneficial. And like I said, I can't speak for being a parent. I am not. I don't have children, but I can speak from a place of I was a kid who learned tarot. I started reading at 10, and I am, how old am I, y'all? I don't know. I'm 37, and I'm still reading tarot, and I'm still learning. I'm still growing. And so it helped me navigate, like depression. It really helped me, and I'll be honest, and this is going to be a trigger for some, so trigger warning. It helped me navigate like suicide stuff, topics around that and experiences around that. It helped me navigate the first and only year I went to high school, what that was like for me, as a gay person in that environment, and how like it was just very challenging. So it helped me navigate that, and then it also helped me navigate when I left high school and I just went on my own, independent studies, graduated early, and it helped me navigate a lot of things, and so here we are. Is it good for kids? Absolutely, it can be if we utilize it in a way to help them navigate their own life. Because kids still live, they still have experiences. Just because they're kids doesn't mean that they don't see things, they don't witness things, they don't go through things. They're kids, but they still are a part of this life. They are still dealing like shit. Kids are dealing with, again, another trigger warning. Kids are dealing with possibly the intensities of being at school, and people, the harsh things that happen or can happen. They're dealing with so much more, and so at an intense level, exposed to so much more. And why wouldn't we want to give them a tool that can help them process and unpack and navigate, and even give them a sense of control? Like, oh, here's a tool I can use to help me find out something that is beneficial to my life, that help me to explore things that will help me um, get on track, help me put words to things and concepts to things that I can't right now. I don't know. I don't have it yet. Right. So yeah. Anyways, y'all, thank you so much for showing up. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I just want to get on here and do this video because I liked the response, and I liked the ability to have a conversation. And again, I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, I'm attacking you. It's a good place to have a conversation, even if you believe differently. Debate, discussion, they're not bad things. It helps each and every one of us to grow. And so I love that we're able to do that. So don't feel like you've been targeted, like you're included, like you've been included in this conversation. So I really appreciate the fact that we're here and able to do these videos and share our time and energy with one another, and to talk about things. Even if we disagree, it's a good place to be able to talk it out and just share different perspectives. So I really appreciate each and every one of you showing up. And if you're watching a recording of this later on, feel free to put your thoughts out there. You're more than welcome. I love reading what you have to say. And again, if you want to add any different pointers, any different personal experience from growing up, reading tarot, or if you have kids and you're teaching them tarot, if you want to share that, please feel free to do that. And again, if you want to join me for daily videos, you can find me on Patreon, patreon.com/the Deviant Witch. And I do daily videos. I do Sunday through Friday. Okay. I do daily posts, a lot of stuff. I do a lot of stuff. So you're more than welcome to check that out if you like. But I really do appreciate your time and energy. And if you have any suggestions for future content, future things you'd like to talk about, please let me know. I'm happy to help where I can. I'm happy to be of service when I'm able to. So Don't be shy, y'all. I will talk to you soon. Take care.